Hi, I'm Steve Ferrell, and welcome to the 30-Day Meditation Challenge. If you're new to this page, my suggestion is to click the subscribe button down below so that you can stay on board with all of the new videos that will be coming at you. Today's technique is going to be one based on what we will call mudra. Mudras are known as hand positions. The term mudra is usually translated as a seal. If you've ever seen people sitting in meditation, they're usually doing something with their hands. If we see pictures of Indian sages or the Buddha, or even people like Jesus in picture, we'll often see them doing these gestures with the hands. One of the background on mudras, as far as more of what we'll call a yogic physiology perspective, is that in yogic physiology there is a life force that moves through all things, and this life force is known as prana. In Chinese medicine it might be something like qi, or in Star Wars it would be the force. And so with this idea of prana, or sometimes called the pranic model, that prana is moving through everything, through our bodies, through our environment, in the sky and the seas and the ground. And so one of the ideas around mudra is that there are these channels within the body. In Chinese medicine, they're usually called meridians. In yoga physiology, we call them nadis. Nadis is a term for a river. So we have these rivers in the bodies, or these meridians. And it's thought that within the pranic model, that when we bring our hands or even our bodies into positions, this is a way for us to begin to channel this kind of energy. And so the meditation practice today is going to be based on 3 mudras. The first mudra, known as Prajna Kriya Mudra, is going to be done by having the hands open, by taking the tip of the index finger to the base of the thumb, and that the other 3 fingers will stay extended. This will be the first mudra that we're using today. The second mudra that we'll be doing is going to be relatively close to the first. It's known as Medha Kriya Mudra. And that's just by simply taking the tip of the index finger to the second knuckle of the thumb. Right. And then the third mudra that we're going to be cycling through today is known as Jana Mudra. Jana is the Sanskrit term for wisdom, which is just by simply taking the tip of the index finger and the tip of the thumbs together as the other 3 fingers stay extended. This is a very common mudra that we'll see in a lot of different pictures, maybe even some yogurt ads. And so for this particular meditation, I'm going to be cueing you as to when to switch mudra. And all you're going to try and notice is not only the feeling of the different hand position, and knowing that for some of you, depending on how stiff the hands might be, some of these positions might be a little bit difficult, or they might even become painful or just uncomfortable through time. And so if that's the case, taking breaks whenever you need to. Also at any time, if you notice that the mudra starts to bring up a little bit of discomfort somewhere else, or maybe even some anxiety, that it's okay for you to let that go, right? That we're not trying to hold the mudra to make something happen. We're just bringing our hands into positions and noticing how that might begin to change, how it is that we feel in our bodies, maybe even how it is that our breath begins to move or not move, or how thoughts might start to arise or settle down. My suggestion with this meditation is to do this in a seated position. Right? That the spine be upright but not rigid. But again, is it okay if you need to lie down? Of course it's okay if you need to lie down. Right? So we'll find that comfortable position, right? Whether seated or lying down if it's necessary. And we'll start just by simply bringing the hands palms face down onto the legs if you're in seated. If you're in lying, you might have the hands on the floor, palms face down, or on your belly. We can close the eyes if that seems appropriate. And just taking these first few moments to notice, to feel what's happening. Opening up our attention and just noticing what's there. Noticing sensations in the body. Noticing how your breath is moving. Even noticing the quality of mind. And as you get a sense of sort of that baseline, we'll bring the hands into the first mudra. Again, Prajna Kriya Mudra. And so with the palms facing up, we'll start to bring the tip of the index finger to the base knuckle of the thumb. The other three fingers are actively extending, but not aggressively. And as you do that, as you bring the hands into position, again, noticing. Notice how the physical body responds. Notice if the quality of the breath or your perceptions of breathing begin to shift. Notice if the quality of mind begins to change. And we'll stay in this mudra for 3 more breaths. At the end of that 3rd breath, we'll go to our reset position, which is again palms face down on the thighs or the belly. And just noticing what begins to shift. And start to move into our 2nd mudra, Medha Kriya Mudra. So again, the palms face up. And then this time taking the tip of the index finger to that 2nd knuckle of the thumb. The other 3 fingers staying extended. Beginning to aim our attention inward, noticing body, breathing, mind. Again, at any time, if you need to release the position, just know that that's okay. Sometimes mudra can have very strong effects. And take 4 more breaths here. When you finish that 4th breath for yourself, again coming back to reset position, palms face down on the thighs or hands on belly. Noticing what shifts, what changes. And then for our final mudra, known as Jana Mudra, again, palms face up. And this time bringing the tips of the index finger and the thumb together. And not the pads of each finger, but just the tips of the 3 fingers extended, settling back into body, breathing, and mind. And just noticing what's happening. Again, 4 more breaths here. When you finish that 4th breath, releasing Jana Mudra, our reset position, again, palms face down, and feeling what happens. And take a deep breath in, slow breath out, deep breath in, and slow breath out. Whatever movement you need, when you're ready, opening the eyes, and coming back to this space. And as we work with mudra, again, just being aware that mudra has this tendency to shift energies. And so being aware in our own bodies and our own minds, which mudras might be appropriate and which ones might not be appropriate. Right? That what works for one person is not necessarily going to work for another person. And what creates calm and ease in one mind might create anxiety in another mind. And so just using our mudras wisely and recognizing which ones are best for us and which ones that we might stay away from or not try to push too hard. We'll bring our hands into one final mudra, which is this sort of prayer position, or hands in front of heart center. In Sanskrit, the term for this position is known as Anjali Mudra. If you're more of a Zen practitioner, then you would know this as Gasho. So we'll bring the hands into Anjali Mudra. We'll bow the head towards the heart and finish with one bow. Thank you.